Hello everyone, my name is Ryan Olson with Whitebone Creations, and here today I'm going to show you how to clean a wild pig skull. Now first and foremost, you're going to want to remove the head from the body and make sure you're utilizing all of your meat. Then I come right inside the cheek and I start to skin around the jawbone. The easiest way, if you've never skinned, is just where the tension meets between the bone and the tissue. Just take your knife and cut, and then work your way around until all the hide has been removed. Now I'm going to do 2 of these at 4x speed, so if you didn't get a look at it on the first go, maybe it'll show up on the second go. Once the hide has been removed, I start to remove the excess meat that's on the bone. I start with that cheek meat, and then I come right and left of the jawbone there, and then I cut out that whole tongue and all that tissue behind there. Then I work my knife around the top of the skull cap and take out that muscle that goes all the way from the jawbone up, and then remove both eyes. And then I like to separate the jawbone from the top of the head. So I kind of cut right and left, and then with the Armstrong method, I hyperextend it till it comes apart, and then I like to immediately get that skull underwater. I drop it in a pot that's already filled, and then I grab the hose off the next pig so I'm not making my surface area super dirty, and then I just repeat the process. Like one of those fancy cooking shows, we just kind of jump to the next step. So those pigs are down in this pot of water. It was clear water, Dawn dish soap, about a cup, and I've brought it to a simmer. Next step is I'm going to pull it out and I'm going to start to power wash off all the meat and tissue. Rule number 1 at Whitebone Creations, you want to spray into every hole and every orifice. Anywhere there's meat or tissue, make it go away. Again, y'all, I'm doing this about 4x the time, so this should take about 15 minutes roughly. From here, I knock out this little nodule that's right on the, kind of like on the throat area, right below the brain hole. And then I take like a little 5/8 wafer bit and I kind of wallow that hole out. That will help me spray in there and get rid of any connective brain tissue or liner or anything. Then I take that same pair of pliers, I grab a hold of that nose and I pull all that junk out of the sinus. From here I pick up teeth that have been sprayed out, I wiggle for any loose ones, remove them, and then power wash for another 5 minutes. And the last piece is I like to stick a pair of forceps in there and remove the brain liner. With those nodules knocked out, it'll come out nice and clean. Give it a final rinse and get it right under clear water. And then that's the end of step 3. So we skinned it, we boiled it, we power washed it. This next little piece is just a be careful message from a guy who's done this for well over 30 some years now. For the first time ever, I took a hot pot of boiling water, and instead of picking it up and walking it to the drain like I always do, I just leaned it off the top of the burner and I poured it right down the top of an extra tough boot, and I cooked the entire top of my foot off. It took 4 weeks to recover. It's some of the worst pain I've ever known, and it was my own fault. So please be careful. Even when you're power washing, make sure those tips aren't anywhere near your flesh. Just be careful because there is some risk that comes with this job. All right. From here, I clean up my environment. I pick up all the loose junk and tissue. I bag it and I freeze it, and I make sure everything is sanitized. Next step, I fill a pot back up with clear water. I add a half a gallon of Aquasilk and another big slug of Dawn dish soap, and I bring it to a boil. So this is the latest variation in my methodology for pigs. So I brought it to a boil, and then I just turned off the heat, covered that pot with like something to keep sunlight off it, and I let it sit in there for 24 hours. This now is looking at it 24 hours later. I bring it back to a boil and then rinse it and wash it clean. The whole idea with the 24-hour soak is that it's pulling out a lot of the grease extremely fast. It's no different than somebody's method where they put it in warm water and add degreasers and things like that. I'm just doing it in a quarter of the time. Right here, I do the unthinkable and I just hose down my camera. So that's about the end of that. I rinsed them, I set them out to dry, and here's where we're at now, 24 hours later. I'm gluing teeth back in. I'm making sure everything's fit right. I'm making sure that there's no grease spots anywhere. And then I take and I fill the big boar tusks full of super glue just to make sure they don't crack over time. And then the very last step is I just give them a coat of Flooring Mop and Glow. Just a nice, easy paintbrush wipe on there to kind of seal everything in. I let them dry 10-15 minutes and then get on the phone with the client. Okay, y'all, pig skulls are all finished up. They're beautiful and they're about a week old. Now I would fully expect, this one is a sow, this one is the boar, right? Obviously, I have these pulled way out. This isn't natural. You only see a third of the tusk, typically. But I pull them out because on display, why wouldn't you? If I could pull out deer horns, I'd pull those out too. I would fully expect both of these pigs in the next 6 months to take on more of a natural color. You can see, for instance, here, you can see where some of those natural colors are just starting to come through. And here, right? That's oil in the bone. These pigs are clean and white, and that's our focus. Completely degreased would take months and months and months, and it would cost a bunch, and it wouldn't make sense for us or for the end user. I personally like a pig skull that's been around for about a year and it's taken on all of its natural color. If you then want it bright white, you can kind of go back through the process, but you'll get to a point where you start deteriorating the bone. You can even see here, this one is a little more rough than this one, right? This is from heavy chemical, hot water. It's just where I think this is on the edge of being too rough. Anyway, that's the process. Decide for yourself. Get that stuff out of the freezer. Be kind to one another and never ever stop doing cool stuff. Thanks, y'all.